Hello YouTube, LD50 here, back with another video, and today we're going to be talking about our all-powerful 3-shot Fade Away Facepuncher flak build. I've updated the build for the new purple tree. As you can see, we have our shiny loader bot here. So we're going to go through the gear, through the skills, do a little bit of combat, a couple of bosses, and have a recap at the end. So, gear-wise, this is a Facepuncher build. You want to have a Facepuncher, and if you didn't know, the Facepuncher deals melee damage. The reason why this build is so powerful is we can pair the Facepuncher with a white elephant artifact. Melee attacks have a 30% chance to attach a sticky bomb, so the shots from the Facepuncher will activate this white elephant artifact, and the sticky bombs do a lot of damage. Every pellet has a 30% chance to attach a sticky bomb, so with 7 pellets we have an increased chance to activate the white elephant. You can use any white elephant that you require. I happen to like a stone version, an elemental stone. This is a radiation stone, but you could use a cut purse or a lifesteal or any other type of white elephant. As long as it's a white elephant, this build will work. Anointments to look at on the Facepuncher. I prefer for general combat a consecutive hits, because throwing out grenades and damage over time and pet damage will all help to keep this anointment alive, and at max stacks it is somewhere, I believe, around about 200%. But for a bossing situation where you don't have the ability to keep a consecutive hits anointment alive, I would recommend an action skill active. Weapon damage is increased by 200% anointment. We're going to be using a frozen heart because the frozen heart deals cryo damage with its nova and freezes enemies, and frozen enemies take increased melee damage. It also gives us 30% of nova damage returned as health. We're going to use a cloning hunter seeker, or any hunter seeker will do. The reason we use the hunter seeker is it is classed as gun damage. Gun damage can get critical hits, and critical hits will help with the skills. As we go through them, I'll explain why. And then finally, we're using a Cosmic Stalker. If you can get as many points into big game as you can, the skill there with the arrow and the bear claw, that will help. And passives to look out for: splash damage, action skill cooldown rate, melee damage, weapon critical damage, Hyperion critical damage. Any buffs to your shield would be good, but do avoid shotgun damage, because shotgun damage does not apply to the Facepuncher. So let's have a look at the skills. We'll do the purple tree last. On the blue tree, we're just going to take 3 out of 3 into Persistence Hunter to give us some extra gun damage, but importantly it's going to extend the duration of our Fade Away by 45%, and 4 out of 5 into Ferocity to give us 40% extra damage from our pet. On the red tree, we want to make our way all the way down to Megavore, and on the way we're going to take Interplanetary Stalker for the stacking bonus damage to different types of enemies. As you can see, pet damage is increased, regular damage is increased, and then we have bonus damage to robots, bonus action skill damage to humans, and bonus movement speed to beasts. 3 out of 3 into Leave No Trace, because critical hits have a chance to add 1 ammo to our magazine. We can increase the chance of Leave No Trace proccing by having Megavore, which we will talk about when we get to the bottom. We will have 5 out of 5 into Hunter's Eye for extra bonuses against various enemy types: critical hit damage against humans, armor damage against robots, and damage reduction against beasts. And importantly, 3 out of 3 into Head Count. Now, the reason we had the Hunter Seeker was it deals gun damage. It can receive critical hits from Megavore, and therefore it can increase our action skill cooldown, which means that we will get Fade Away back quicker and allow us to use it more often. 3 out of 3 into Big Game. This is currently boosted by the com for extra action skill duration and extra hunter skill duration and extra hunter skill effects. 3 out of 3 into the most dangerous game for extra gun damage, critical hit damage, handling and pet damage, and that lasts for 2 minutes, so that's a great skill to take. Obviously that is only once you've killed a badass enemy or better. 2 out of 5 into Grim Harvest for extra gun damage and action skill damage and pet damage. That's really to help us get down the tree. Single point into Galactic Shadow for extra critical hit damage, and then Megavore, which is the capstone. Megavore gives us a chance to score critical hits off of any body shot. So Megavore will work nicely with head count and leave no trace, which will increase the effectiveness of these two skills up here. On the green tree, we're just going to take 5 out of 5 into Furious Attack for a stacking damage skill bonus. It's 2% gun damage per stack, 3% pet damage per stack, and some extra handling, maximum of 10 stacks. 5 out of 5 into Eager to Impress to give us extra cooldown. A single point in self-repairing system, because we do need to get all the way down to until you are dead. Single point into Lick the Wounds to help our to have our pet revive us should we go down on the battlefield. 3 out of 3 into Turn Tail and Run for extra bonuses when we're either moving or standing still. Moving bonuses are health regen and damage reduction, and then if we're standing still we're getting extra gun damage and extra fire rate. And then finally the new purple skill tree. 5 out of 5 into Gotta Go Fast, because this is going to increase the pet damage and give our pet a bit of movement speed. A couple of points into Agility Training for some reload speed. 3 out of 3 into Throat Ripper. It's a hunter skill, so it's boosted by the com and big game. Hunter skill, pet's attacks have a chance to score a critical hit, so it means our pet can do critical hits. 3 out of 3 into Better Toys to improve our recharge, shield recharge rate and recharge delay, which will help us with the Guardian rank topped off. We'll discuss that in a moment. Single point into Combat Veterinarian. This is basically allowing us to help keep our pet alive, so if we shoot the pet that the pet is attacking, that pet then gets some lifesteal. And then finally Take This, which is going to give us give our pet a copy of our shield. So in the case of the Frozen Heart shield, our pet will get a copy of it. It won't benefit from the anointment on the shield, but it will benefit from the actual mechanics of the shield. So when it's depleted, it will put out a nova, further damaging and freezing enemies on the battlefield for us. I've gone all the way down to Warloader because I quite like the Warloader. I think it's quite powerful. And then obviously we're going to be using Fade Away, which gives us a pseudo critical hit damage boost of 200%, and also movement speed and health regeneration while cloaked. It's got quite a long cooldown, but that cooldown can be brought down with our skills, head count, and also our Guardian rank, which we will go through in a moment. Augments that work with this particular build: Not My Circus. When Fade Away ends, Flax Plets will taunt. That takes the heat off us. And post cloak duration of 10 seconds for the health regen and movement speed. So when Fade Away finishes, we will keep that health regeneration and movement speed going for a little bit longer. That's the build. I'll run through the skill trees quickly again so you can see them. So that's the Stalker, that's the Trapper, that's the Master, and that's the Hunter. We'll have a quick talk about Guardian perks. This is an endgame build, so you do want to have invested a few points here. You really want to get all the way down to Groundbreaker, because melee attacks will slam, in this case melee attacks, trigger an aftershock dealing 25% of all non-melee damage. So the sticky bombs will do the non-melee damage, and then the next shot will proc extra damage based upon that. Topped off. Topped off is a fantastic skill to get down to. Action skill cooldown is increased while at full shields. It's around about 200%, I believe, so that'd be 3 times the cooldown rate. That will be assisted by shield reboot and emergency response, and also assisted by the skill Better Toys. You do need to invest some time and effort to get your Guardian rank up sufficiently to buy these skills, but you will need 125 for Groundbreaker, you will need 75 for Emergency Response, and you will need 50 for Topped Off. So if my maths is correct, that is 250, I believe. Yeah, 250 points. Obviously I've got a much higher Guardian rank because I've been playing for a long time. Mayhem modifiers. I don't like to play with the modifiers, so I play on Mayhem 11. However, you can choose to play on Mayhem 10 if you like for the increased loot chance, but obviously you'll have to deal with whatever modifiers you roll. So that is our build. We've gone through the gear, we've gone through the skills, and now we're going to take a trip over to Blood Sun Canyon to do a little bit of combat through there, take on the final boss of that map, the Quartermaster. Then I think we'll go and do the Ruiner, and then just for lols we'll go and do a one-shot on Grave Ward to show that how powerful this build is. So I'll see you over at Blood Sun Canyon in just a moment. Welcome back. Here we are at Blood Sun Canyon. We're going to work our way down to the Quartermaster. We've started about halfway down. We just spawned in here. So we'll work our way down, fighting a variety of enemies, and then take on the Quartermaster, and then maybe go and do the Ruiner, I would imagine, seeing as we're in this DLC. This DLC is actually one of my favourite. I actually think it's slightly better than the Handsome Jackpot DLC, but you may disagree. I think there's some interesting mechanics going on with this DLC. With the mechanism that will turn enemies friendly. Hopefully our pet will follow us over. Hopefully. Unfortunately the pets... Oh, there he is. Yes, he's decided to catch up with us. Sometimes the pets can be a little bit dumb and won't follow you as well as you'd like them to. There we go, we'll push on through to the next area, which will be to take on the boss.
No refund.
Hopefully our pet will follow us down. Yep, there he goes. So let's go into Fade Away. And the boss taken care of. Relatively straightforward. And I think we'll push on and do the Ruiner as well. Why not? So I'll see you over at the Ruiner. Welcome back. We're here over at Crater's Edge, just about to take on the Ruiner. We've swapped the gear a little bit. We've changed to action skill active, weapon damage is increased by 200% Face Puncher, and it's a ×14 version, which will allow us to get a higher chance to apply the sticky bombs from the White Elephant. And I have changed over to an old god that will boost the radiation damage from the radiation stone White Elephant. So we'll jump through. I'm not sure whether the pet will follow us. He may do, but nonetheless we'll jump through and see how we go against the Ruiner. We'll try to get him done before he goes underground. We'll see how that works out. So into Fade Away. And there you go. Yeah, just a few shots. Most of the damage was done within Fade Away. And then the other damage just to finish him off there. I think what we'll also do now is we'll take a little trip over to Grave Ward and we'll just try the one-shot using the crit swap mechanic and see how that goes, so that you can see that demonstrated. So I'll see you over at Grave Ward in a moment. Welcome back. Here we are at Grave Ward. We've made a slight adjustment to our gear. We have now equipped ourselves a Hunter Seeker that has the on grenade throw, weapon damage, grenade damage and action damage. Action skill damage are increased by 25% for 6 seconds. So the important bit there is the weapon damage. So we'll jump down. We are going to ignore his first phase. We shall throw a grenade, which will go into Fade Away. When he presents his arm, we shall take a single shot, swap over to the Unforgiven, and see if we can perform the one-shot kill on Grave Ward. As I said, we'll ignore his initial phase. Throw a grenade. Go into fade away. Swap. And there we go. One shot on Grave Ward. Fairly straightforward with this build. We'll wait for Fade Away to finish, and then we'll have a little bit of a review. So, the review of the build. We're using the Facepuncher, a consecutive hits anointment for general use. Like this one here. We were using a Frozen Heart for the best part, apart from the bossing. When we used an Old God, where we're using a Cryo Hunter Seeker here. This one had an action skill end elemental damage with bonus radiation damage. But you could use any type of Hunter Seeker. The important thing is that the Hunter Seeker does gun damage, so it will proc the skills that we need to reduce our cooldown. Head count. And we were using the Cosmic Stalker Com and a Stone White Elephant, although you could use a Knife Drain White Elephant or a Cut Purse White Elephant or any type of White Elephant you desire. Skills, this is the Master Tree, this is the Hunter Tree, this is the Stalker Tree, and this is the Trapper Tree. We were playing with Guardian rank on, using Groundbreaker, and also taking advantage of Topped Off, assisted by Shield Reboot and Emergency Response, and we were playing on Mayhem 11. So that is my updated melee flak build using the Facepuncher with the new purple skill tree. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, I would appreciate it if you could leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel. I encourage you to give this build a go. It is a lot of fun, and I will catch you in the next one. I've been LD50, you've been lovely. Bye for now.